everyone, Rochelle from Sprouting Paths Homestead here. It is February 20th and I am inside our greenhouse. Now I wanted to give y'all a little update on what we've been doing in our greenhouse and what projects we've been working on in here, because even though we finished building the greenhouse back in October, we have not been able to rest at all with this project because there was so much that needed to be done or learned about and how to go about using this greenhouse. As some of you already know, we are total newbies to using a greenhouse. So there's a huge learning curve, and I learn best as I am doing something and working with my hands. I don't always learn the best by reading a book. So while I have done some research and I've read some amazing books and used great resources, I didn't fully understand some of the concepts until I got to work in the greenhouse and experience them firsthand. So I'm going to show you around the greenhouse and fill you in on what we've been doing and how we're preparing to use this greenhouse for this gardening season of 2022. So one of the biggest hurdles that comes to using a greenhouse is how to heat it, and how to heat it efficiently without costing you an arm and a leg. I want to figure out a way how to heat this resource that we put together in the most efficient way possible. So that got the wheels in my brain turning, and I started being creative and testing out some different methods. So let me show you the first method I was thinking about. So down below here, underneath the bench that Joe put together, I was experimenting with making like cold frames, and I was kind of calling them microclimate cold frames. But once I started doing some more research, technically I think I was trying to make a heated hotbed. I took some windows that we had left over from the building of that greenhouse, and I was playing with them and trying to put them together in a way that would hold in heat, provide light. I even hung some grow lights or some LED shop lights that I got off Amazon. I hung them from the hardware cloth that we have on top of the bench. And I was toying with some different ways of heating. And I figured if I have rock down here, that's essentially thermal mass. It should retain some heat from the sun during the day and release it at night. But I learned in some of my research that you do want to insulate the ground level of your greenhouse, because the rocks will actually let the cold air come from down below and up in. Thus, I was not successful in keeping these type of cold frames, heated hotbeds, whatever you want to call them. I could not keep them heated. During the day they would get nice and warm, and at night the heat would go away and it would pretty much drop to the same temperature as inside this greenhouse. So I had played with it. I had some, cold frames running all the way down here. I was trying to be creative, and it just did not quite work, but that's okay. We try. So what I did start to think was, if I need to insulate the ground floor, the ground level of this greenhouse, how can we go ahead and do that without taking a ton of time and a ton more money? And we got some 2-inch thick 8x4 foam insulation, and we put the 8x4 piece of foam insulation in the south facing and western facing sides of the greenhouse to maximize the amount of sunlight it will get every day and really draw in the heat from the sun. And we used cinder blocks and pavers on top as thermal mass to hold in that heat and to release at night. So let me show you that. So this is a work in progress, and I apologize, it kind of looks like a shanty town at the moment, but we're trying something. Down here, This is an 8x4 piece of that foam insulation, 2 inches thick. And I put that down right on top of the rocks. I covered it with the Reflectix paper that you'll find sometimes on insulation. Covered it up with that to also protect the foam insulation. And then I put cinder blocks around 3 sides of this platform essentially. I then took these cement pavers and laid them out. So I have a nice level foundation, level platform. After that, I started playing around with how we could set this up. And we had some shelves. This one right here, I actually painted. A good friend of ours was getting rid of this shelf and very graciously gave it to us, knew we could definitely use it. And I painted it and cleaned it up, and it is now ready to be used in the greenhouse. I used Rust-Oleum spray paint on that. And I had this other shelf over here. So what I did is I'm gonna be putting seed heat mats, the germination mats. I have them on here, and I have some more that will go on this shelf as well. And we are using a lot of the resources that we have on our property, and that includes this PVC piping. We had an old chicken tractor that we disassembled a year or 2 ago and had this PVC pipe just kind of hanging around. And I thought, well, we can create walls or like a frame for some greenhouse plastic to go ahead and kind of be draped around the frame of the PVC pipe. So yesterday we started playing with that. We were able to wedge them down on top so we didn't have to go through the foam insulation. We put the PVC pipe down into those cinder blocks and wedged them using old wood, bricks, whatever we had to make it stable. We did that at all 4 corners of the platform. So today, I'm probably going to see if I need to put in any other pieces of PVC pipe that we do have on hand and, stabilize our frame. After I get the frame up, I have some greenhouse plastic that I purchased off Amazon, and I'm going to drape that over top. I'm going to get it nice and taut and secure it and try to get it sealed in so I don't have heat loss. Now, that's the first part of this project. The second part of that project is figuring out how to heat this thing. Now, I was experimenting with heating cables, the seed germination mats, aquarium heaters, and I think because my structure itself was not really insulated well and provided for too much heat loss, all of those methods were not working very well for me. So we're gonna play around with some more things. I'm gonna try using the aquarium heater again in a 5-gallon bucket of water. And the aquarium heater I purchased is on Amazon for I think about $20. I'll put the link below in the description. So if you wanna try out this method yourself. I'm gonna put it in a 5-gallon bucket of water and put it on top of that platform, having it surrounded by the greenhouse plastic, and see how that does. I'm looking into some different things like radiant heaters. I don't want to spend a ton of money, and I also don't want a fire risk. So I am researching those thoroughly, just to be on the safe side. That's not something I want to experiment with and potentially start a fire. So I'm gonna play around with some of those things. I found out the heating cable that I ordered, the radiant, like almost floor heating cable, was not enough wattage to provide enough heat to heat the cold frames I had. And really, we don't have proper electric running into this greenhouse quite yet. We have an extension cord coming in, but we don't have any underground electric running in here yet. So everything we are doing to make sure it's safe first and to test to see if it's effective. But if it's not safe, we aren't trying it yet. And that will have to wait until we actually run some electric into this greenhouse. So that is where we are at. You know, the biggest reason I want to set up this kind of mini greenhouse inside of a greenhouse is for seed starting, because it is too cold in this greenhouse for me to put my little seedlings out. So if I don't have a propagation area to keep my seeds, they have to stay inside. And one of the biggest reasons we built this greenhouse was so that the seedlings could stay out here rather than in our house. So if Joe and I can successfully create a seed propagation area that's heated efficiently, and I don't have to worry about the temps dropping below like 60 or 55 within that unit, I will have succeeded and we will be good. Just to have one area. I don't need to heat the whole greenhouse right now. I just need one area. And if I can do that, I will be one happy girl. Just to kind of give you guys a runaround of what our greenhouse is looking like right now, you know, here is our potential seed propagation area that will be heated. A mini greenhouse inside of a greenhouse, essentially, to try and be energy efficient, cost efficient. And I do have the Mr. Heater ventless propane heater, 30,000 BTU, and it heats it up wonderfully when I'm working in here on a very cold day. Not very effective for heating overnight and maintaining a good temperature. It's just too cold and our greenhouse is not that well insulated yet. But I do really like this, and I have a feeling there will come a day when we'll be utilizing this resource in a way that's more effective. But as you can see, things are kind of a mess around here because of all the experimenting I've been doing. Lots of greenhouse plastic that I've been purchasing that will be used in here. So I got that, you know, in our Govee, which is basically the way we monitor the temperature in the greenhouse. We have 3 of those, so we were able to test out the cold frames we were trying to heat, and we were able to track the temperature to see what was being effective. Also, one cool thing about the Govee is it gives you alerts. If the temps drop too low, it will alert you on your phone, and you'll know, okay, I need to go check on that, or whatever, make an adjustment. So that's a big perk of using that Govee. But I have stacks of windows over here from the experimenting I was doing, trying to use them to make cold frames, cinder blocks. I have tons of Pro Mix over here, and LED lights and grow lights. So it's a bit of a disaster in here at the moment, but I guess that's the price you pay for learning. And this is one big learning experience. So guys, I just wanted to let you know how things were going in here and kind of show you what's been going inside of my brain as far as how we're going to be using this greenhouse and how I'm learning. It's a really cool experience to be learning all this, but it can be frustrating as well when you have other things going on and you're starting seeds. You know, you kind of like to have these things already set and ready to go, and it can be a little unsettling when it's not there yet. But I'm having faith in this process, and I'm really trying to enjoy the journey of learning, because, you know, really, I don't know everything, and that's the way I learn, you know, through doing. So I hope you all are having a great weekend, and stay tuned because there's lots more of learning to be had here. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.